Hey everybody, today I'm going to be showing you how to install SuperATV's rear bumper on this Honda Talon 1000. So let's jump right in. The first thing we're going to do is go right up here to the oxygen sensor and unplug it. You should be able to push the tab in, be able to just wiggle it right apart. Then we're going to go right here to the exhaust and we're going to remove these two bolts. Then we're going to come right back here to where our muffler is attached, right here with the rubber mount on either side. And I already sprayed the mounts down a little bit with some WD-40. I'm going to go ahead and do it again. It just makes it that much easier for whenever you got to get it off of there. I like to just take a pry bar, slide it beside it, and just work it right off of the mount, just like that. And then I go through and remove all three of the Allen headed screws. There's one, two, and then my third one. And what you can do is you can just go ahead and peel the whole mount off of this side. I'll just spray these down a little bit right there. And take my pry bar again. Slide it up in here, just peel the mount right off the hanger, the exhaust. So there's your mount. Set it aside. Just grab a hold of this bracket and just set it out of the way. Then we're going to go over here to the opposite side. Just going to go ahead and peel this mount off. Then you'll just want to grab a hold of your exhaust, slide it out of the way, and you should just be able to slide the whole muffler and everything right out this opposite side. Next, we're going to remove both our lower and upper rear cover. For the lower, there's going to be two 10mm bolts on this side, as well as two 10mm bolts on the opposite side. Once you remove your bolts, just go ahead and take your lower cover and set it aside. Now to remove the upper cover, you're going to remove all the hardware up top here. We've already removed the outer two screws because we had a bed enclosure on our machine, so we went ahead and removed it. And there's going to be a push pin out here on the outside. We'll go ahead and remove that. Then on the opposite side in the same location, let's go ahead and we'll slide it right out of the way. And we'll just put it right up here on the bed. So now what we're going to do is we're going to locate our upper heat shield, which will be right here. We went ahead and removed ours just to make it easier to demonstrate where you need to make your cuts and how you need to measure. You can leave yours on your machine, that's perfectly fine. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna take a measuring scale, and this will be the side here that'll be facing towards you if you're at the back of the machine. We're gonna go right here to the edge of the shield. We're gonna go over 120, which will be right there. So we'll go ahead and take our paint marker. We'll make sure that we have it right at the edge of our shield here, and we do. And we're going to make a little mark for the 120. We'll go over here to this opposite side. There we go, 120. Make a little mark. Okay, so now that we have our marks, we're going to go over 60 from our mark. Make another mark. We'll do the same thing here. Okay, so now we have our 120 from the edge, and then our 60 from this mark to this mark, and this mark to this mark. And then what we're going to do is from the bottom, we're going to measure up 60. Do the same thing here. Measure up 60. And then what we can do is lay our measuring scale here down, and we can use it as a straight edge. That way we can have some lines on where we need to cut. And straight edge our 60 at the top. We'll just do the same thing for over here real quick. All right, so now we have our 60 by 60 marked. Now it's time to cut it out. Before we do any cutting at all, we want to make sure that we put our safety glasses on, as well as a pair of gloves, because there will be metal. We're wearing long sleeves as well, that way we don't get anything on our arms. So we'll make sure that when you're doing this, you're being extra safe. So I'm going to go ahead and turn this towards me for when I cut it. So we're just going to go ahead and cut a straight line. You know, make sure that you're not cutting anything on the back side. You can use a whiz wheel. You can use anything that has a cutting wheel on it. You want it to be a fairly thin wheel too. Ours is a pretty thin wheel here. So we're going to go ahead and start cutting. So once you made your cuts, your heat shield should look just like this. And like I said before, you don't have to remove it from your machine, but we did it just so we can show you exactly how we're gonna cut ours. Doesn't have to be perfect, it just needs to be good enough to where the bumper will fit. So after you have your heat shield cut, we're gonna head on to the next step. So once we have our notches cut in our heat shield, we're gonna go ahead and reinstall our muffler. We're just gonna take it over here on this side, slide it right into the mount. So now that we have it connected on our passenger side, we're going to go ahead and hook it back up with the rest of the exhaust. I like to go ahead and get a little bit of anti-seize out for our exhaust bolts. They tend to be the bolt that rusts the most on any machine. So if you ever need to take it back off again, it's always nice if it has a little anti-seize on it. And we're going to go ahead get our flange line back up. We're going to take our bolts, get them started back in there. Whenever you tighten your exhaust, you want to tighten it evenly side to side. Then once we have it connected, we're just going to go ahead and reconnect our R2 sensor. Make sure it snaps. Then we're going to reach inside of our machine and fire it up to make sure that we don't have any leaks in the exhaust. It's like we're all sealed up and good to go, so we're going to go ahead and reinstall our rubber mount as well as our steel mount here. You have to pick up on your exhaust. And you want all this to go together at once. You want it to hit all three of the hangers. Kind of work them on there all together. Spray a little bit more lubricant on it if you need to. And we'll go ahead and get our screws started back in the exhaust. Go ahead and tighten up your exhaust bolt. Now we're going to go ahead and remove our radius arm bolts and replace them with the bolts provided in the hardware kit. What I like to do is go ahead and get the nuts off. Once I have the nut off, I'm going to go ahead, pick up on the tire a little bit, get a radius arm to the point to where we can get our bolt out. And I'm just going to come in from the back side with the new hardware and just push my old bolt out. And we'll have the threads so they're sticking towards the rear, and we'll just go through and we'll do that for all of our radius arm bolts. Just gonna make sure all your bolts are pushed all the way out. And then if you're utilizing a rear receiver hitch, just make sure it's all lined up. We're gonna go ahead and remove our hitch pin out of our rear receiver hitch. And we're gonna grab our bumper, slide it up onto the studs of the bolts. Just like that. And we'll take our nuts, get them all started. Then we're gonna grab our 4 smaller bolts that are provided in the hardware kit, as well as our flat washer and our bracket. And we're just gonna take the bracket and lay it right over top the frame rail, right where we made our cut. And just lift the bumper up to it, line your holes up. Just go ahead and get them started. We'll do that for the front and back. And we'll just do the same exact thing over here for the opposite side. And then we'll fully tighten the hardware that's securing it to the frame up here. Next, we're gonna go ahead and fully tighten our radius arms. Go back through with a ratchet, double check everything, make sure it's nice and tight. So now that we have everything fully tightened, we're just gonna go through and install our lower cover as well as our upper cover. And there you have it. That's how super quick and easy it is to install SuperATV's rear bumper on this Honda Talon 1000. For more information on this rear bumper or any of SuperATV's great products, feel free to give us a call at 855-743-3427 or check us out online at superatv.com. Thanks for watching, and we'll catch you next time.